We are not grounded in any level of practicality right now.
If you really want to become successful, you're going to have to make sure that you are super determined and focused on whatever the goals that you have set for yourself are at hand. You need to be aware that it's not going to be easy by any stretch of the imagination, and it's going to be a truly cumbersome journey that you're going to have to embark on, because there's going to be several ups, but there's also going to be tons of downs. And that's when it truly makes you successful. It's all about how you handle the failures and what you do when you get hit in the face, teeth knocked out, you're down on the ground, looking like you're out for the count. Do you decide to lay there and give up, or do you decide to get up, decide to chase your dreams with a relentless work ethic, and decide that you are going to make it happen no matter how hard?
I'll never lose again because the system was I needed to be accountable to another human being.
How long or how much time and energy you have to put into it in order to make it work. You see, the more you fail, the more you learn about whatever the action is at hand, and the more you learn about yourself. Failing isn't just losing. It's all about how you come back from that failure and all the opportunities and whatnot that you can learn from failing. It's going to be hard and it's going to suck. There's no questions asked. But it's all about how you handle that failure. And will you give up, or will you stay down and not even attempt to go for your dreams ever again? Because that's what's going to happen if you give up. But if you fail, you will continue to fail, and the more you fail, it's all about just getting back up. You only have to get up one more time, then you fail.
Every single person here can write an article about their expertise in the business that they're in. I became 1% not happy selling wine. 1. And that's when I changed my life. I started Wine Library TV in February. I had to do the holiday thing and all that, but and that's where this all started. And by the way, talking about patience, everyone's like, oh Gary, this is so great, but you're so handsome and charismatic, I can't do that shit. You know, and I was like, listen, 17 months. You saw Fred say 2006, you just heard about me yesterday. 17 months, I did Wine Library TV 5 days a week. I walked away from being CEO of my company, running that stuff, watching it dip. For 7 years, it grew 24% every month against the month from the year before. And I walked away, started Wine Library TV, and I became part of the community. Let's talk about community. Listen to your users, like Fried said, but giving a shit about your users is way better. People listen, but they don't do anything. Doing something, answering those emails, giving a crap, caring about your user base, that's what you need to do. You need to care about everything, and it starts with yourself. Look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, what do I want to do every day for the rest of my life? Do that. I promise you can monetize that shit. If you love Alf, do an Alf blog. You collect Smurfs, Smurf it up. Whatever you need to do it. I like micro failure. I hate macro failure, like death of your business is bad. To me, you know what's funny? I'll use a boxing analogy. My favorite boxing, I watch a lot of boxing. I think boxing's a very interesting, and I'm super into mixed martial arts, but I grew up on boxing, I understand it better. And I like watching it because there's so many things that happen in boxing. First of all, what I love about boxing is there's nowhere to hide. Number 2, there's a scenario in boxing that I love the most. For some reason, there's nothing more interesting to me than watching somebody get knocked down in the first round and then go on to win the fight easily. It's an interesting psyche, and I like that, and this is what I'm thinking about it, which is like, here's what's bad in boxing and in business. Going into a fight, getting knocked the fuck out in the first round and losing the match. Getting knocked down and then having the adversity to readjust to what you got caught on and navigating it to easily win a fight is remarkable. That's how I think about entrepreneurship. The reason so many people struggle with entrepreneurship is you have micro failures almost daily, and they're very in your face. You can't hide. I like that. I like failure because I think I deserve it. I was very fortunate. I was a failure my whole life. You know, when you're a bad student, you're used to failure. You know, I was a bad student. I loved sports. I played a lot of sports, but I wasn't great at sports. I was dealing with adversity and failure. You know, when you're an immigrant, when you don't come from much, when you're little, you know, I was a little guy, when you're bad at school. And then I was a businessman, so when I would knock on doors and ask to wash somebody's car, you know, 90 out of 95 people said no. When I stood there at a lemonade stand, 100 cars would drive by for every one that would stop. So I was used to failure. Failure was my foundation, which is why I succeeded. That was a big one. I'm in a funny place where I'm just not scared. I'm just not worried about, you know, I have this weird, I could care less what anybody thinks, and I genuinely care what everybody thinks. You know, it's the kind of this really yin and yang. And so I just realized that so many of you are scared to fail because your dad's gonna make you feel bad about it. And I have empathy for that. That sucks. or your husband is gonna say, I told you so. I'm very fascinated by negative energy within our ecosystem that is not cut outable. You can get rid of your acquaintance that's a dick face, but when your mom's the dick face, you're in trouble. And so I've been trying to have this conversation of who are you scared to fail in front of? And I gotta tell you, in one-on-ones or meetups where the content has come from, people are scared. Like, you know, you look up to your older sister who's straight lined and got like, and her opinion matters to you. And if you fail, you don't want fail in front of her. That's tough. That's stopping a lot of us. I don't have the answer to what you have to do about it, other than I do believe that communication solves all things. But great, how do I push you to have that real talk with your mom? Hard. So it's a real one, but it's not so easy to unwind.
Thank you all so much for watching. Go ahead and like and subscribe and let us know what you thought down in the comment section below.